Okay, so I know we've all watched an anime or a TV show like Dragon Ball where there's an object that people are chasing. And see, we're conditioned to hate the villains. But it made me think, what would you be capable of with a Death Note? So what would you do with a Death Note? It's a super interesting thought, isn't it? Like, there's always movies and stuff like Lord of the Rings and Dragon Ball, a bunch of others, where a character, usually a character that's like, doesn't mean much in the world, given something that either they have to keep away from a villain or not succumb to the evil themselves. And see, with Death Note, we meet Light, and Light is, prim and proper high school student. If he had never found the Death Note, he would have became a CEO and climbed the corporate ladder to the CEO position, stepping on people and kicking people on his way up. Which, there's people like that every day. But see, in this story, he finds this Death Note on the ground that has a bunch of rules in it, but it has the ability, with their name written on it, they will die eventually.
Death Note? As in a notebook of death? How to use it? The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die.
And so he has this strong moral code and moral justice in his mind that he's like, this world is trash. I'm going to clean it up. He takes on the responsibility to clean up the world. That got me thinking, it's such an interesting topic of, was he wrong? And what would someone, you, me, whoever, if they had the ability to enact actual change, immediate change in this world, what would they do with it? And I know, I get it. Hey, I get it. You're immediately like, murder is wrong. A+, you're not a psychopath. Like, you nailed it. Murder is wrong. But think about it. Some of us feel insignificant sometimes. And some of us want to enact real change in this world. Especially in this day and age. This day and age is all about change. It's all about building to a better future. And I get that. And, as far as I'm aware, I'm not no scientist, but as far as I'm aware, there's no object in this world that will give you the ability to, hurt someone or make 3 wishes and become immortal. As far as I know, I'm not saying there's not. As far as I know, there is not. If you really sat down and thought with yourself, if I was given this book and I could see on the news, I think this is in the manga, you see on the news, they have the name of the guy that has kidnapped a young child.
The same assailant who attacked 6 people at a busy shopping district in Shinjuku yesterday has struck again, taking 8 people hostage at this daycare center. His captives include both children and teachers.
You're only hurting the guy that has the kidnapped kid. Is that wrong? That's what makes it so interesting. Is that wrong? You save a life and you clean up someone that's putting bad into this world. And trust me, there's already enough bad in this world that's being put out there.
Wait, we're seeing something here. Looks like movement at the front entrance.
The hostages are coming out, and they all look to be unharmed.
Think about it. With anything, if you're given something that holds a lot of power, no matter how good you are, go to any psychologist or anything, it amplifies who you are as a person. In Death Note, we are showed outside he's prim and proper student, but inside he's a conniving, sociopath.
I'll show the world what happens when you cross me. The entire world is watching. L.
So, if you really sat down and looked at yourself in the mirror, would you be able to handle the ability of something like that? If it amplified your personality 10,000 times, what would you find? What would you really be capable of? That's why it makes Death Note one of the greatest mangas and animes of all time. It'll probably fall here and there from 3 to 10 to 20, as time goes on by. It will always have a place because it actually asks a question that is important.
Wars have stopped, and global crime rates have been reduced by over 70%. But it's not enough. This world is still rotten. With too many rotten people.
You got to listen. Just between me and you. Come closer, come closer. Just between me and you. Right now. I understand that we're supposed to give people second chances. But, does everyone really need a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance? Sometimes it's a no. But that's just between me and you.
Really? He's going to sentence me to death? Sounds interesting.
With Death Note, specifically, and with ourselves as humans, you start going into nature and nurture and are people naturally good or are they naturally evil? There have been textbooks and textbooks and textbooks about that stuff, and I'm not going to sit here in like a 10-minute video and try to explain what people have been trying to explain for 10,000 years. I'm not going to do that. Hey, you want to go to your local library? If they're still around, you go to libraries. But all I just was thinking about, because I was rereading Death Note, what I was thinking about was, are we as good as we think we are? I would hope that I am as good as I think that I am. I think I'm a pretty good person. But if I'm a good person, what in the world are you going to do with a Death Note? The name Death is in the title. What good can come of it? It can't. There's no good that can come from something like that. So what would you do? Would you pick it up off the ground and then put it in a desk? Just to forget that it exists? Would you try to burn it? Would you try to get rid of it? Would you look at it on the ground and be like, it says death on it. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go that way.
That's pretty lame. Not to mention twisted.
No, you would pick 85% of people, 90% of people would pick that up. Out of pure curiosity, they would pick it up and be like, what is this? I guarantee you 70% of those people would use it. There would probably be 10%. I'm going to give you 10%. They're going to be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want the headache.
There must be something wrong with me to even consider it.
And would you really not be liked in this situation? Like, yes, okay. His extremes, maybe not.
Criminals around the world are being murdered by a serial killer. I consider this crime to be the most atrocious act of murder in history.
But even if you were a little bit like him and started out like he started out, are you a bad person?
From this moment on, I'll show you the creation of the new world.
I don't know. Just a thought that I had. I'm not saying one way or the other, good or bad. I just think it's one of the most interesting questions an anime or a manga has ever posed. What would you actually do with a Death Note? So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.